Welcome to the bold analysis. The nation, or rather the country Kenya, was waiting and paying attention to what the president was going to tell the country on Friday midday when he came off State House to make a press briefing. And I want us to break down what was really said there. And I'll explain to you the behind the scene intrigues why William Ruto was not able to provide the breakdown of a cabinet reshuffle. And there have been every understanding that they were preparing grounds for that. Nation had a story on President's Last Supper with CS before Axe Falls. The cabinet meeting that was held on Thursday, which is an extraordinary one, so the president for the first time taking a joint photo with cabinet members. And Nation reported that the president had opted to reorganize the ministries by sizing down from 22 to 15 ministries and merging different ministries. So I want us to look at that, then we will try to read into what to read into what has been proposed here. And they're saying that there are 15 ministries opposed to 2022. These ministries are supposed to include the Ministry of Defense, Interior, Ministry of Energy, Health, Ministry of Education, Treasury, and National Treasury. Others are that of Agriculture, Livestock, and Irrigation, which is going to stand alone. Then there is Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Community. That's going to be merged into one. And then Ministry of Labor and Public Service. And the Public Service, that is where Moses Kuria belongs. Then there is Ministry of Affirmative Action, Youth, and Gender. And the reorganization will lead to creation of Ministry of Water, Forest, and Environment. That means one ministry merged. Then Ministry of Tourism, Culture, Youth, and Sports. That is Namwamba and Babu Namwamba and who else? And Alfred Mutua getting affected. So a rough outlook into it is there is the Ministry of Land, Alice Wahome, that is going to face criticism, that is going to face the chop because it's going to be merged with that of infrastructure that belongs to Murkomen. So is the president going to sack Murkomen or Alice Wahome? Then there is that Ministry of Tourism, and there is going to be merged with sports. So it's either Namwamba or Alfred Mutua, someone to go home. Then that one of Aisha Jumwa is also on the chopping board. I wish they can also reshuffle the Ministry of Energy. In 2023, for better part of 2023 and first quarter of 2024, it's been one of the worst hit ministry being in the limelight. But the president then announced these 10 measures that I want us just to brush through quickly so that I can tell you why that list was not given today. The behind the scenes of that list. But I think even very important, before I look at what the president said, because that is not something new, that is something that is already in the public domain, let me look at the factors on that cabinet reshuffle. But before that, listen to a snippet of Ruto's speech, Ruto's address here.
Settling arrears owed to counties, settling arrears for NGCDF, and settling arrears for our pensions. Accordingly, in keeping with the enhanced austerity measures we have committed to implement and align government expenditures within the budgetary implications of the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the following actions shall be taken with immediate effect towards the realization of the new budget. 47 state corporations with overlapping and duplicating functions will be dissolved, resulting in the elimination of their operational and maintenance costs, and their functions will be integrated into the respective line ministries. Staff currently employed by the affected corporations will be transferred to ministries and other state agencies within government. The decision to fill the position of Chief Administrative Secretaries is hereby suspended. The number of advisors in government shall be reduced by 50% within the public service with immediate effect. Budget lines providing for the operations of the office of the First Lady, the spouse of the Deputy President, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary will be removed. Similarly, the budget provisions for confidential budgets in various executive offices, including my own office, have been removed, and the budget for renovations across government reduced by 50%. Henceforth, public servants who attain the retirement age of 60 shall be required to immediately proceed on retirement with no extensions to their tenure of service whatsoever. The purchase of new motor vehicles by the government is suspended for 12 months, except for security agencies, while a new policy on transport for public officers will be developed. All non-essential travel by state and public officers is hereby suspended. No state officer or public servant shall participate in public contributions or harambees going forward. The Attorney General is hereby directed to prepare and submit legislation to this effect and develop a mechanism for structured and transparent contributions for public, charitable, and philanthropic purposes. These measures will be followed by changes in government that I will be making shortly. We are determined to carry out this and other interventions to improve the quality, efficiency, and transparency in serving the people of Kenya and ensure that citizens receive maximum value for their resources.
So why has a cabinet reshuffle become a biggest challenge for President Ruto? If the issue is, if a cabinet reshuffle will be easy, then I think within those 2 years, already we would have seen people being dropped out of cabinet. But it's not easy, because even for President Uhuru Kenyatta, for him to have arrived at a decision to reshuffle his cabinet back in 2015, it was not a walk in the path. It was not something very easy. It really took him some time to ensure that that is really done. So I am not shocked that that development is there because of technicalities around it. Now, what is at stake on William Ruto's cabinet is very critical. And these are the things at stake. Number one is the issue of the changing tide in Mount Kenya politics. Mount Kenya and Rift Valley made the bulk of William Ruto's vote in 2022. But as now things go, William Ruto is on a coalition path with his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, and that is the other third side, the other third leg in the stool. So the perception, rather the understanding, should be that if William Ruto is reshuffling the cabinet, will Mount Kenya, the region that gave William Ruto bulk of his vote, feel left out in his government? So it's a delicate balance that while you want to kick out people because of incompetency, You need to, there is the issue of, we are talking about issue-based politics, that we've changed our politics to economy. But that is on paper. On real things on ground is we are still mobilizing and we're still thinking along those ethnic lines. So William Ruto understands very well that with the current fallout between him and Rigathi Gachagua can leave Nairobi and then go and stage a coup, because that had already started, that despite overwhelmingly voted for William Ruto, they are no longer the shareholders. And that is a big issue here. If you look at ministries that are affected, look at Alice Wahome. Alice Wahome is represent that Mount Kenya image. Look at the Ministry of Agriculture. Look at that of Moses Kuria. So look at the David Nd's position. So that's one of the factors, and I can tell you that even if he was saying that he's going to consult so that he can come up and give us the list, this is one of the factors on table that is causing that delay. The second issue here is 2022 political party patronage, or rather, let me say 2027 political roadmap when merging with the ANC. Yes, there is a merger with the ANC. And the other party, Ford Kenya, also wanted to, declined actually to officially fold to join, but ANC has officially joined. And that has elevated the position of Musalia Mudavadi. One of the critical issues for President Ruto is also to try to woo the other parts of the country. And these cabinet positions, I want to tell you for a fact, these cabinet positions are there as images. The political class will use them to woo the voting bases. There is a ministry that is given to Salim Vuria. In Mombasa, someone was asking, Kevin, why is it in Kwale? What about that position? And these are the positions that are at stake. They are at stake. If you look at the position of the Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, is at stake even in after the next general election. So the second thorny issue on table is William Ruto also campaigned on the platform of, I don't want to betray my friends. Aisha Jumwa, that ministry is not doing well, not so much, and has been one of the, in terms of the latest ranking, as one that has not been performing really well, or rather impressing even voters. But why is it even difficult to hold it to reshuffle such? It's because of the political party patronage. The other third thing is the incompetence card slapped on removed fellows. And I think I had mentioned this. If you are removed from cabinet now, after these Gen Z protests, the understanding and the narrative around you is you are part of those ministers that have not delivered. You are part of, I listened to the Gen Z, the experts, and they're saying Murkomen needs to be shown the judo because he's amongst the cabinet members that have been showing opulence. So, if you are sacked now from cabinet, one of the things is you are a failure. So even if you want to have a fallback to go and vie in your constituency or your county, probably after being a minister, you'd rather think of becoming a senator or a governor or so. It will be an uphill task to come back. And that is what, and this is why, there's some members in cabinet, and I just want to tell you, if you look at the defense, Duale will seek a governorship in Garissa. If you look at Kuria, will seek governorship in Kiambu. If you look at Aisha Jumwa, was in for governorship in Kilifi. And you can name them. Many other members of that cabinet that are there, and they would want to be part of the political discourse, or rather they will seek elective seats later. But with this understanding that they're being now profiled as people who are failures because of having been removed from cabinet, it's one of the problems. So I want to, and that is why I'm seeing it entirely. But I would want to ask, in that William Ruto's cabinet, of course they are joyriders. If you were to ask me, you could just send all of them home. Maybe leave probably 20%. But anyone without a clean slate should be shown the door. And that's why I wonder whether there is anyone with a clean slate. anyone with a scandal linked to any scandal since Kenya Kwanza administration started, because the bulk of the problem why we are here is because the public is feeling like they're shortchanged. Those in power are looting the money that is being collected through taxation and are coming back and showing opulence with stolen money. So any person that has been involved, and you look at all this, you will realize that almost 80% of that cabinet needs to leave and bring in new faces. The third aspect, and this is very critical, is shredding of a power sharing deal. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the ministries, two ministries are very critical, but those two ministries have, there's something critical about them. Ministry of Health, that is being held by Susan Nakhumicha. Susan Nakhumicha is an appointee of Moses Wetangula. She is in cabinet. She got a cabinet position of Moses Wetangula. And so you will understand that for Moses Wetangula to have influenced a cabinet position, it was in obeying the 2022 power sharing deal. There is that Ministry of Education held by Machogu. And there were so many other factors in it. Machogu is an appointee of Musalia Mudavadi. Before he moved to join and vie in UDA, he was actually an ANC and is believed to have been influenced by Musalia Mudavadi. And there are many other angles you can look at it. There are people, or there are cabinet members like Alice Wahome, and let me just give it two examples. Alice Wahome, Duale, and Aisha Jumwa. They are there courtesy of UDA. For example, if you look at someone like Duale, Duale was from URP, so has grown with William Ruto all the way from the URP party to the TNA, and that's why even by the time he was a majority leader under Jubilee administration, that was the leg of URP in the Jubilee government. So you see these technicalities. William Ruto will have to shred. William Ruto will have to shred the power sharing deal to obey and be able to do quite a number of things. So it's a big problem. The other third aspect is the wanton corruption in government that has been blamed. You know, one of the reasons, one of the factors on table that William Ruto should use to choose who to go, who to remain, is who is corrupt and who is not corrupt. And then he was saying, you know, if I fire so-and-so and is not cleared, is linked to this and is get cleared, then I'll have to appoint him as ambassador. So there is a bit of destabilizing the political base. That is the biggest challenge, that I can destabilize the political base. I want to tell you that some of these people like Moses Kuria, if he leaves cabinet, the next day he will call a big rally in Nairobi or in Thika and someone start castigating Ruto and will form an alternative political wave looking into the 2027 political race. And those are some of the things that I want to tell you the president is finding difficult to crack. But then let's finish by these proposals by the president. One, and I've seen people reacting, a task force to carry out forensic audit on public debt to be formed. And why are we auditing what we are already paying? People are saying, why do we audit? Why do we need a task force where the Auditor General has been bringing reports and have been asking for even that debt register to be published, to be published? So what is the audit? Is the audit on how they have been spent, or on whether those loans are existing and which loans are they? Because what country, we all agree that those loans have been squandered, either stashed in some account somewhere or misused, but the public cannot see, Kenyans cannot see those loans in our roads. We cannot see those loans in our hospitals, in our schools. So why the audit? And so if we are auditing, then we rather stop paying fast and tell the debtors we are auditing so that we can pay fast, and it's just another thing of just buying time. Now, the other one is 47 state corporations with overlapping roles to be dissolved. I don't think this is something new. This was already there. And there is even a court case against such, and the president had been mooting this move, even though what was to happen is some were even to be sold. So it's not something new, it's something that has been there. CS positions suspended. I don't think there were a problem because even we were not to have them in the first place. Then the number of government advisors to be reduced by 50%. This is not new. This also has been said in the past that we reduced those ones. So reduce David D, reduce this and that. So if you reduce them, it's going to cause bit of an impact in our wage bill. They're saying that. The budgets for the office of First Ladies, that of the President, Deputy President, and Musalia Mudavadi, I support. There is absolutely nothing. There is no relevance of those offices from that of, including that of Charlie and Ruto. Those ones need to be scrapped. I totally support that. Confidential budget removed. This is money given to a politician, given to the office of the Deputy President, the President, and that of Musalia Mudavadi, and you don't account for it. It's called a confidential vote. It's money just be given as your pocket money. This is the money being donated in churches and used to do the harambes. And when people attend graduation ceremonies, they are promising children millions, a million as just pesa bash. That is that kind of money. That has also been scrapped. Then budgets for renovation of government offices reduced by 50%. Here I believe it should have been scrapped completely. There is a state house in Nairobi, it's in good state. There is a state house in Nakuru, it's in good state. It's not a must, we must renovate all the state buildings now. In the spirit of austerity measures, you should scrap 100%. Just scrap this issue of renovations. These people are leaving. They're using those offices as now. There is no state officer who lacks an office because it's not been renovated. Public servants who retired yet still serving to proceed retirement immediately at age 60. A good move, but it should also involve politicians and those in cabinet and those in senior positions, senior advisors, strategic managers, not just the other civil servants like teachers and doctors and so. It should involve all if it's going to be implemented. And that one I don't think is, that is not an austerity. That is just a replacement because of course, we want to bring new people so that we can employ the youth. I think now, in terms of employment, government will really try to employ the youth, the Gen Z, because they have really had their voice on table. Budgets for the purchase of cars be suspended for whole year, quite in order. Then non-essential travel suspended, just another hot air because this has been said and has never been implemented. No harambes, but there is a lot to be passed which is yet to be there. And so you look at this is what has been promised. What is your take? Do you think there is something to smile about? There is a jet pen. That is my take. But I have explained why the cabinet has delayed in that reshuffle.